Hi there, everybody. This is Scott down in the Literary Lounge, and I'm getting ready to start reading a new novel. As you know, I'm working my way through the list of Pulitzer Prize winning novels, and I've read the first two already. You could go back and listen to those if you haven't already. The first was awarded to His Family, written by Ernest Poole. That award was presented in 1918. And the second award went to The Magnificent Ambersons, written by Booth Tarkington, and that was awarded in 1919. The third award, and the first one to a woman author, goes to The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton, which was awarded in 1921. Now, you might have noticed that there was no award given in 1920, and the reason for that is a little bit interesting. When the panel was put together originally to start selecting novels to be awarded the Pulitzer Prize, the prize had already been in place for several other categories. The estate of the Pulitzer family had been established to present these awards to Americans who excelled in a variety of areas. And they decided to award novels beginning in 1918. Originally, when the award was established, the estate instructed the jury to distribute the award based on a novel that represents the, quote, whole atmosphere of American life. But the president of Columbia University at the time, Nicholas Murray Butler, who was in charge of the committee that was selecting the novels each year, decided to change the terminology to award the prize such that it reflects the, quote, wholesome atmosphere of American life. And so that change kind of transformed the Pulitzer Prize for novel into more of an ethical award rather than a celebration of artistic excellence, which I believe it was originally intended to do. In 1920, when the jury met to try to decide upon a winner for the prize, they originally sought to give the award to Java Head, written by Joseph Hergesheimer, but ultimately they decided that it was not sufficiently wholesome, and they were not able to come up with another alternative and ended up not awarding any novel at all in 1920. However, in 1921, apparently they decided that The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton was sufficiently wholesome and awarded her with the Pulitzer Prize that year. So, a little bit about Edith Wharton. She was born Edith Newbold Wharton in January of 1862, and she died in August of 1937. She was a very prolific writer. In addition to writing 15 novels and 7 novellas, she wrote 85 short stories and published poetry and books on design, travel, literature, cultural criticism, and she even wrote a memoir. Some of her most famous works are The House of Mirth and Ethan Frome, and according to her biographer, Hermione Lee, because Wharton included versions of her mother, Lucretia Jones, often in many of her fictional works, her biographer described this as one of the most lethal acts of revenge ever taken by a writing daughter. Wharton's writings often dealt with themes such as social and individual fulfillment, repressed sexuality, and the manners of old families and the new elite. Maureen Howard, who was the editor of Edith Wharton Collected Stories, notes several recurring themes in her short stories, including confinement and attempts at freedom, the morality of the author, critiques of intellectual pretension, and the unmasking of the truth. Her writing also explored themes of social mores and social reform as they relate to the extremes and anxieties of the Gilded Age. Another key recurring theme in Wharton's writing is the relationship between the house as a physical space and its relationship to its inhabitants' characteristics and emotions. Maureen Howard says Edith Wharton conceived of houses, dwelling places, in extended imagery of shelter and dispossession. Houses, their confinement, and their theatrical possibilities, they are never mere settings. So, with that in mind, let's get started with The Age of Innocence. I'm really looking forward to reading this to you. I read it myself a couple of years ago and really enjoyed it. It's a wonderful novel, and I hope that you will enjoy this now. Let's get started with The Age of Innocence.